Check my YouTube channel, subscribe, and share.
Welcome, everybody, to the Kimberly Speaking podcast. And today we have a very special guest and treat, Miss Nasya Shepard. She is the founder and the CEO of Mirakul Moments LLC. She is going to explore how her faith, resilience, and creativity turn life's hardest beginnings into purpose driven impact. Welcome, Nasya.
Thank you so much for having me, Kimberly. This is so amazing. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. I'm so glad that you were able to make it. I said I definitely have to have her on the podcast after we did our little live session. I was like, yeah, we got to get her up here. We have to put her story out there. She's doing so many amazing things. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right. So I am from Beaufort, North Carolina, and I am the youngest of 6 children.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I just, for fun, what I like to do, I like to listen to music. I like to travel when I can and just, discover who Nisa is, discover because every day there's another layer. So I'm just continuing to discover who I am and who God is calling me to be.
Absolutely. I totally understand that because, we're changing every day. So I want to know, give me the background of Miracle Moments. How did it come to pass? How did this birth? Give me all the details.
Okay, well, to be totally transparent, Miracle Moments started when I was born, 1989. So when I was born, my esophagus and my stomach wasn't connected at birth, and I also went through several heart valve surgeries. So from the
Mm,
hospital that I was born at in Carter County, I was sent
okay.
2.5 hours away to Duke Children's Hospital. It was just me, the transporters, and the Lord. My parents did not go. And so Miracle Moments came about because my name is Nisa, which means miracle of God. And I
Mm,
wanted a business to embody who I am and my journey as well. So, and I'm like, I didn't want it to be spelled the regular way because, a lot of
mhm.
people have
Yeah.
miracle, Mirac, how it's normally spelled. So I was riding with one of
Mm,
my friends and I was like, hmm, I want it to be something different and catchy where people,
yeah.
when they see it, they think I spelled it wrong, but I didn't spell it wrong. That's just like a
Okay.
hook to get them to say, well,
Yeah.
why is it
This is
spelled that way?
interesting.
So then I can tell them my testimony, tell them about how it came to pass.
I love it. I love it.
Mhm.
Okay. So I'm really big on resilience, and a lot of the speeches that I do is about how resilience plays an important part in our journeys, in our lives, in many different ways. So
Mhm.
tell me how your beginning was built through resilience.
Oh, I would say defining the odds. Like I didn't let
Mm,
where I came from of being on a feeding tube for 5 years with my
Mhm.
esophagus and my stomach not connected, and then
Mhm.
also there was one more thing. So one more thing I was going to say and I forgot it.
Mhm.
But not
Okay.
allowing where I started from and those things to define where I could go. And to be totally transparent, for a while I was stuck in fear of because
Mm.
I'm a lot shorter than the rest of my siblings and my parents.
Okay.
And for a long time that had me in fear because I was like, well, how would other people perceive me? And maybe
Mm.
my voice won't matter in different rooms,
Mm.
right? Because of my height. But then there was a time I had to like really kind of sit with that. And how people can say different jokes and things like that, that
Yeah.
can really weigh on your self esteem.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So for a while, that like really played in my mind, like, oh, I'm too short to
Mhm.
do this. And a lot of things that I just feared doing that I was like, no, I don't think I'm gonna do that. I'm good on that.
Wow.
Yeah, so I just it took a good probably I would say after I think in the when I was graduating high school into my college years to really transition into who I am and to realize, my identity doesn't lie within my height, how tall I am, or what somebody else thinks about me. And I
Yeah.
had to take those insecurities, I had to take that weight to sort of say and turn it into something beautiful because how some of the strongest people go through a lot of things and they just have to
Mhm.
turn their story into their power, right?
Mhm.
So I was like, I'm not going to let this define me. I'm not going to let what other people say just take over my whole life. So I was like, I have to get my
Mhm.
life back. I have to get my courage back. I have to
Yeah.
get my confidence back. And that's where the power of resilience came into play
Mm.
and I just had to start looking back at where I came from and how
Yeah.
I am today.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Absolutely. Oh my God, that's so funny because I'm short too. So I'm like 4'11", and I've always been pretty much anywhere I go the shortest person.
Uh-huh.
And when you're younger, you do focus on, oh my God, I'm shorter than everybody else. Well, I'm this, I'm that, da da da. But now in today, like I'm like, okay, that's sort of my superpower. That's what kind of
Mm,
draws people
yep.
because you are, average height. You're a little bit shorter.
Mhm.
You're gonna stand out more, especially. And I've always been loud. I've always had a really big voice and
Mhm.
personality. So like that on top of being short is like they don't really expect that, so they don't really know how to take you. And
Yeah.
I just kind of realize we're tiny but we're mighty. And so
Exactly.
that was
Yes.
yeah.
Do
So
not
I
mess
can
with
definitely
us.
I can relate. I can relate. I totally get that now and understand that. And I'm
Yeah.
glad that you were able to overcome that. So with all that you've gone through in your early medical struggles, how much of a blah, girl, I can't talk today. How big of a part did faith play in your story in helping you to overcome all the things that you've gone
Faith played a huge amount because I in order for me to really step into where I am now, I had to, of course, pray. I had to, of course, lean more into God to know who I am and whose I am in God because He made me in His image and I'm not a mistake. And, where I am in life, everything God has allowed me to come through
through?
is because of Him. And without that faith piece, like really, where would I be, right? Because God is my name, Miracle of God. So it's
Yeah.
just a big part of my journey.
Yeah. Okay. Now, did you acquire that faith? How young were you when you acquired your faith? Like, were you like a teenager, a young adult?
Oh, I would say I was a teenager because I
Okay.
remember I think it I wanna I remember I think it was my elementary or middle school year. I think I had got saved that it was around Thanksgiving. It's around Thanksgiving time. And I think I'm pretty sure that's when my journey really started. So yeah.
Mm. So what a lot of people, we take for granted a lot of different things that we're able to do. And how hard was it overcoming those obstacles that you dealt with, as far as, like, the feeding tube and the different surgeries and the recoveries, and just being able to do everyday things? How hard was it just dealing with that stuff and not allowing it to keep you down and to keep you in a limited mindset?
That's a good question. So like when I was five, when I, I was 5 or 6 when I got my
Hmm.
feeding tube removed because I
Okay.
had to go. I believe I had to go to Durham or Duke to get it
Okay.
removed. And that started the journey of really being able to consume solid foods. Now,
Hmm.
I will tell you this, my sister and my god sister, when I was on a feeding tube, they gave me Oreo cookies. Well, at the
Oh.
time, I was not supposed to have any solid foods. So every time my stomach would get full, my tube would burst and it
Oh
would
my.
have to be changed. So they thought it was funny that, they would give me, yeah, because like when I was with my godmother, so she knew how to change my feeding tube. She knew how
Yeah.
to do it. It
Mhm.
was her and a few other people. So I was with them and they gave me an Oreo cookie and it burst. And
Oh
yeah,
my gosh.
and they thought it was just the funniest thing. So you know how cruel can, you know how older siblings can be, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my gosh. Oh my
So
gosh.
overcoming that was the question, right? Over
Yeah.
overcoming that.
Like, just the
Now,
different,
now I will say I have had a little bit of challenges from
yeah.
birth
Mm-hmm.
to now. When it was 2008, 19, I believe. I did
Okay.
have to go to the hospital because my heart rate was at 200, a speed of
Oh my
200.
God.
And I found out that I was losing blood over a span of time, which caused me to be, um, had to have a blood
Need.
transfusion.
Okay. Okay.
And I didn't know
Mm.
what was happening because
Yeah.
I would get tired doing regular activities
Oh
from the
my
car to
God.
the house to the house to the mailbox. And I'm like, why am I getting
Yeah.
why am I getting short of breath? Why? And sometimes
Mm.
you know how people think it's just asthma, right? Well, y'all,
Yeah.
it wasn't just asthma. It was more
Oh
serious
wow.
than that, right?
Oh my
And
God.
this was, yeah, 2019, I think it was 19. Yeah, 2019 if I'm not mistaken.
Mm.
And so what happened was I was home washing dishes, all of a sudden
Mm-hmm.
I felt my heart started beating very fast.
Oh
And I was
my
like,
God.
okay, well maybe this will stop, right? And
Mm.
it just kept beating faster. And I was like, okay. So I just started praying. And then I
Yeah.
was like, okay, well, started to feel like I was shaking. I was like, let me go stand in front of a mirror, see if this is what I really like. And when I say I stood in front of the mirror, y'all, I saw my heart beating fast.
Oh my gosh.
I saw my body shaking. And I was like, okay. And then I just started thinking, I was like, okay, Lord, maybe this will stop. I just started praying, calling the name of Jesus, right? I was like,
Yeah.
okay, this will stop eventually. Well, lo and behold, I ended up having to go to the emergency room. And
Oh
that's
my
when they redid my heart rhythm. And that's when I found out the actual next morning after the blood transfusion that my hemoglobin was a 4.6.
God. So what's normal range?
Normal range is like 13.5, I
Oh
believe.
my
Now, let me
gosh.
tell you, these are the signs that your iron can be low, is that you're
Yeah.
eating a lot of ice. Y'all,
Mhm.
I was eating ice like it was food.
Yeah.
I loved ice everywhere I go. Let me get that tiny ice.
Yeah. Oh, I love
That
it. I love
tiny,
ice cream.
listen, and y'all listen. Did they have to tell me to stop eating ice after that? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Because I'm
Yeah.
like, if this is what happens, this is like a symptom of having low iron. Okay, I'm
Wow.
laying off the ice
Yeah.
and I'm trying to, and I had to have blood transfusion, iron infusions, and but that was my last that was my first and my last blood transfusion. But I
Okay.
have had iron infusions since then. So yeah.
Wow.
And then I also 2 or 3 years ago, I had to have an upper endoscopy with a
Mm-hmm.
balloon
Mm-hmm.
because when I was eating, started coughing. And if when I
Mm.
started drinking, I would cough. Come to find out,
Mm.
my esophagus, where it was going down, was narrow. So they
Oh
had to go
wow.
in and stretch it.
Oh my gosh, girl. Ooh, so you just a walking miracle, basically.
Yes. I'm like, Lord, I thank you for continuing to keep me because,
Yeah.
you know, sometimes we take life for granted because we
Yeah.
absolutely think that we're going to be here the next
Yeah.
second or the next minute. And just like that, you know,
So true.
things can change. And like I say, every moment in life is your miracle moment is a real true statement
Yeah.
because
It is.
it's like loved ones you seen like 5 minutes ago and then hear news and I'm like,
Like really, like it's yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And it's so crazy because I've been thinking about that a lot. I'm like, every time I turn around, somebody is dying. And I'm like, oh my God, like what? I don't know if the deaths have increased or just our awareness. Because like, so my
Mm,
husband will say, well, he feels like there was always a lot of death. Social media just makes us more aware and more prevalent. And I
that's
was like, well,
it.
man.
Mm,
I was like, that makes sense because we really didn't know, all this other stuff. I mean, we would hear it
mm,
eventually, but like having that real time, updates and news,
yep.
it can be overwhelming. And I'm just like, man, you gotta live life. You gotta enjoy yourself. I'm like, you just don't know. I don't. It just seems like it's just a lot of death. It seems like it's just been heightened to me.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like back to back to back to back to back to
Yeah,
back.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. And then, on top of that, we're dealing with the stuff that we're dealing with, politically. And then we're dealing
Mhm.
with, the war and, all these other things. And it's just like people are heavy. Like it's a lot of overwhelming things that are happening. And I'm like, if you don't know God, this
Yep.
is the time that you need to draw near and draw close because these are trying times. These are
Absolutely.
trying times. It is some crazy things happening in this world.
Yeah,
But
and
you
if your
you
faith is
are
not
literally,
strengthened,
yeah,
then you'll fold under pressure, you'll
yeah,
fold under to
absolutely.
everything that's what's going on.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's why, more and more I'm just trying to continue to build my faith. I'm like, okay, God,
Mhm.
like I trust you. I No matter what's going on, my
Yeah.
trust and my faith have to be in you. And oh my God, you just went through so many things. I know I'm switching lanes, but
That's okay.
just like listening to your story, like your faith and just you would never know like the things that you've gone through because when I met you, you just had such a beautiful aura. Your spirit was just so beautiful and calm and
Mhm.
peaceful. And I was just like, oh my gosh, she's so sweet. Like I didn't even realize you were that short. But I was like, oh, she's short like me when I first met you for the first time. And it was so crazy because I told Vital after the play, I was like, oh my gosh. Nisa was the perfect angel. I was like, she looked like a real life angel. And then she was like, and she normally doesn't play that. And I was like, are you serious? She
Do
was
you
like,
know
no.
that
I
was
was
my
like,
first
that's
do you
what
know
she
that was
told
my first
me.
time?
She told me that. I was like, I don't believe it. I said, there's no way. I was
I
like,
was
it
like,
was
"Oh
like
my god."
girl, it was like you were like a real life walking angel, girl. I'm telling you, it was so beautiful. Like the whole play, I just loved it. But I was just like, oh my gosh, she's like the perfect angel. And I'm just so glad that we met each other.
Yeah.
I feel like you have a beautiful personality, beautiful spirit. I've always
Thank you.
loved, anytime that we've had to collaborate or, work together and things like that. So it's just been a pleasure and I'm just grateful for that any positive connections and friendships and things like that that I make in this day and time, I'm definitely grateful.
Yeah, me
You
as
know,
me too. You are amazing as well.
absolutely.
So I'm just glad to be
Oh,
connected with you. You're so sweet.
absolutely. Well, thank you, ma'am. So tell me, how do you think, when did you go from surviving all the things that you've gone through to building in business, building in life? How did you make that transition? Was it easy? Was it hard? What helped that transition?
Oh, that's a good question. From survival to building.
Mm.
I would say it came over time because
Mhm.
a lot of people would ask me to do certain things. So
Mhm.
therefore I would gather the skill of, let's just say, getting in contact with different family members and
Mhm.
people know who to contact, right?
Yeah.
And even when it came to planning different things for the family, getting people together, okay, Nisa
Mhm.
can do it. And then so that's always been a skill of like coordinating and
Yeah.
just people skills.
Mhm.
Still daily working on the people skills because people can be people.
Girl, yes,
We can be we we as people can be a trip, myself included.
yes,
So,
yes, we can.
it's a daily thing, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And as I continue to um went to after I graduated high school, went to community
Mhm.
college for my business systems and technology. It changed
Okay.
during while I was during my course of being there. And
Okay.
then I it took me a while to actually go back to school to get my bachelor's administration degree.
Okay.
And I'll tell you how that started because I enrolled 2013, I think it was. I had a set of niece and nephew that graduated high
Mhm.
school. So when I was
Okay.
working at my previous job in the beginning, I was like, you know what? They're getting ready to go to college. I was like, I might as well, start mine. And then one of my former employees, he was like, well, what's stopping you? I was like, well, you
Yeah.
got a point. So I applied and got into Liberty University where I
Wow.
received my bachelor's administration degree, and that
Okay.
was that was a journey, but I enjoyed it.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Going to school later in life is harder. And that's what I tell people. I'm like, when you're young and you're going to school and you graduate high school, try to continue and go as far as you can
Mhm.
then, because when you get older, it's a whole nother set, set of
Girl,
obstacles. It's a different struggle, when
yeah,
you get older. Because I'm just like, oh my gosh, ooh,
and
because
working and going to school,
yeah, yeah, and then
yeah,
trying to work and go to school.
and balance
That's a
life.
lot. Listen, I went back. I started my bachelor's when I was a single parent,
Uh-huh.
baby. Let me tell you. And that was back then. They did have, courses online. However, some
Mhm.
courses you had to come and go to class physically, which
Mm.
I hated. So I would have to go to night, go to work all day and then go to class at night, like twice a week.
Mm.
I was, oh my God, this is the worst. And I absolutely hate going to class. Like sitting in a classroom, I can't even do it any longer. Like at my age, I never liked it before,
Mhm.
but I definitely don't have the patience to do it in my older age because I can't just sit there and listen to lectures and I was on out quickly. Just give me my work, let me do my stuff, let me turn it in. Like I work better like that. Like I can't do that. I can't do that
Mhm.
lecturing and listening because I'm gonna lose interest quickly. But yeah, so it's definitely a bigger struggle. So anybody that does that, I definitely my hat goes off to them because I know the
Mhm.
struggle and it is real and it's much harder. I mean, it's doable, but it's definitely a different animal at that point. You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm. Yeah.
so that's awesome. I'm glad that you were able to do that. And now I think back, like you remember back when we were younger, like in high school and things like that. You had to have a bachelor's degree, and then they
Mhm.
started saying, okay, you have to have a master's, then you have to have a doctorate. Like now,
Uh-huh.
that. you used to could get by with a high school diploma with some things.
Mhm.
Now you got to start off at master's. Like it doesn't even matter. Like it's so many different requirements nowadays. Like for the working, for corporate America.
Mhm. Yeah,
Then
unless
when
you
you look
create
at
your
all the
own.
people, yeah, and exactly, and then you think
Yeah.
of all the people that are entrepreneurs that maybe didn't go to college and they're out here, with these awesome businesses and
Yeah.
making differences and doing all those things. So I always had the mindset of everything is not for everybody, so
Mhm.
some people go to college, some people don't go to college. I don't think is a right or wrong way. It's what works best for you. Because if you're not
Exactly.
there, it's not for you. You're not gonna be successful at it, and it's not gonna be
Mhm.
effective. So you're just wasting time and money, might I add, because
Yeah.
loans and all that stuff, it's just gonna pile up. So yeah,
Yeah,
I know
because
we kind of went
I had started my master's.
there.
Let me tell you, I
So
did
let me
not
tell you.
finish. I was like, "Oh
Well,
no, this ain't it." I'm like, "I'm
you
good."
said, girl, hold on, wait a minute. Did you say this? Oh my gosh,
I
that is
did a
hilarious.
semester.
That is hilarious. Listen, I don't blame you. I totally understand.
And
I
then
totally
I thought
understand.
it was it. I thought it was the way to go, right? Because
Yeah, yeah.
like you said, they said, get your bachelor's, go to your how they go through the whole chain, right? I'm like, no,
Hmm.
I don't want to go through the chain. I'm good. I don't want to go through the
that,
chain.
that ain't it. That ain't it.
Not for this
So
particular one, anyways. I'm good.
I listen. I totally understand. I totally understand. And I got like different certifications for my job. And I was talking to one of the ladies and she's like, yeah, I just got certified in this. I said, listen, I ain't getting no more certifications. Did not pertaining to this job. Anything I do will be outside.
Uh-huh.
I said, I'm good where I'm at. I will not be studying, acquiring to get any other certifications for a job. No, 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 no,
That,
no. I'm done.
yeah.
I'm done with that. Something outside that's going to help my business, help my entrepreneurial journey. Yes, I will do
Mhm.
that. Nothing
I
outside of
get
that.
it. Yeah.
So, okay, Miracle Moments LLC. Tell us about your services. Tell us about the different things that you offer.
All right. So, y'all, I do a lot. Let me just put that out there.
Mhm.
So, before I get into my whole spiel, yeah, I like do a whole lot of things because the way I see it is I've taken a lot of classes and webinars and
Mhm.
things like that, which has
Mhm.
given me the knowledge and the ability to do it. So I'm like, you
Yeah,
know what? Why not? But
yeah.
to start off, guys, I create flyers, I create
Mhm.
logos, business cards, I social media management,
Okay.
custom theme songs, guys, which I absolutely love. That's like therapy to my soul. When I create a song,
Oh,
y'all listen, it's a whole vibe.
man, that is awesome. We're gonna dig into that deeper because I definitely want to know more about that. But keep going.
Okay, sure. And then also implementation of AI receptionists into your
Okay.
businesses. So that way, like you're missing calls or appointments
Yeah.
while you're asleep. The AI receptionist can make calls, answer things pertaining to your business, schedule
What?
appointments. Yeah, I took a class. I took a class.
Oh, yeah,
I
we gotta have a meeting.
Yes. So, like, really, y'all, like, it's like we're in a world where learning and honing in on your skills that you have can really take you far. And then also, when you implement AI into it as well, it can also help you in your business. I'm trying to think if I left anything out. Also, I help with book editing. I've also helped people edit and publish their book, which is out on Amazon. I've done that. I also co-author in two books. One is Winning Women from Trials to Triumph, and then also Nine Lives, The Walk of Faith. I think I got it right. So yeah, yeah, and I'm also on a journey of writing my book as well about my.
Okay, awesome. So when is it when do you foresee that coming into fruition and being available for the people?
Well, guys, I'm not gonna lie to you, so I don't know.
So yeah, we're gonna need that story. We're gonna need that book to come on
Yes.
out. We're gonna have to work on
I may
that.
do it like in volumes. I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
still going
Oh
through
yeah,
my
that's a good idea.
yeah. You know what? I actually might start because as I'm thinking about it and talking about it,
Yeah.
the more I wait and wait,
Yep.
y'all listen. Like I just said, I don't know. Might give
Yeah.
y'all a first volume. Okay,
I like
so
it. I like it.
but yeah. So what I've done when I turned 35 is
Hmm.
introduce. Uh, I can't even talk. What did I do? Interviewed my parents. Interview my parents
Okay.
about
Okay.
the journey of me and
Yes.
when they found out about what I had going on. How did they
Okay.
perceive it from their perspective? Because you never know how
Mm.
somebody may feel or how they felt when they experienced a child, especially their baby, having
Oh
to
yeah.
go from the hospital that she was born at to another one and the
Yeah.
mom and dad stay where they were. And then also from a sibling perspective as well. So I've been talking to my siblings to get
That's
their
good.
perspective of it. So yeah, it's like really and these questions you think about like, okay, so this is where I was when this is how I was when I was born. So like
Hmm.
how did this make them feel to know that I
Mm.
had to go to this hospital or,
Yeah.
even a child um with with issues at birth, like how did the
Yeah.
parents feel? Like did they feel like I was a burden, maybe having to go back and forth to the hospital and And then also I asked a very tough question, that some people may have, wondered I know I wanted to know,
Yeah.
like, at any point, did you feel like I was a burden or a I think I asked,
Mm.
I don't, I know I asked, was I a burden? At any time, did I
Mm.
feel like I was a burden? Did you ever feel like
Yeah.
giving me away, right? Because, and to be real with the whole situation, some parents may not feel like they can, carry the burden
Yeah.
of being having the child with a lot of issues. And then, mind
Yeah.
you, I'm the youngest of 6 children, and they
Oh.
have 5 other children that they also had to take care of. So, it's just
Mm.
digging deep within the
Yeah.
story of Nysa and peeling back, like, the different perspectives of everybody of how they thought and, what they experienced in that time frame.
Yeah. Absolutely. So I'm not sure if you said this. Did your parents find out about these issues while you were still in the womb or once you were
It was
delivered?
actually after.
Okay. Okay.
To my knowledge, it was actually after. And I didn't have a
Okay.
name for 5 days, y'all. Let me just tell y'all that.
Oh, wow.
I was known as Baby
Oh,
Shepherd.
oh, baby shepherd, look at that.
Mhm.
I like it. So cute. Okay, I want you to rewind. Go back to this creating songs. Like, I want to know more about that. I think that is so
Okay,
interesting.
y'all.
So I'm
So
very, very interested.
I create songs with AI. And y'all, I'm gonna tell you this, right? Okay, y'all don't sleep on AI because there's literally people winning awards and
Oh yeah, they
contracts
are.
with AI. So I took this class. Well, yeah, I took this class learning. I think within the class I learned how to make music, and you use ChatGPT, and you can also use a music engine
Okay.
to actually generate it. And that's what I
Wow.
do. And literally, y'all listen, like some of the songs that I've created, and that's on my inspirational music channel by Miracle Moments. I've got from sermons, I've got from life situations. Like I know
Wow.
one song that I created, it was called Mistakes Don't Break Me. Because even
Mm.
on this
Wow.
entrepreneurship journey and being in business, sometimes you're going to come in contact with different individuals that may not agree on different things and things may not have happened the way you think that they should have happened
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
cause you to rethink your whole like business,
Yeah.
rethink things,
Yeah.
right? And I was like, I really felt down at that moment because the customer was saying all these things, and I was like, you know what? We're all human. Things
Yeah.
happen. You know, I apologize for what happened,
Yeah.
and I had to sit with that, and I was like, you know what? Yeah, I made a mistake. I own up to it, but this mistake is
Mhm.
not gonna break me. Cause y'all, listen, I
Oh,
was like,
that's right.
I was re I was rethinking the whole business, and
Oh,
I was
yeah.
like, you know what? Because these things happen, like when
Yeah.
people try to perceive things on you and say different
Yes.
things, and you get all these thoughts in your head. It's like, well, am I
Absolutely.
really cut out for this? But then I was like, you know what? This ain't gonna break me. I'm just gonna keep
Yeah.
on moving forward. You know, all I can
Absolutely.
do, apologize, see how we can fix this
Yeah.
situation and move forward. So that's where I
Absolutely.
got the motivation to come up with that song and be like, you know what? Mistakes don't break me.
Oh, I love it. Oh, yeah, I gotta go check this channel out. I gotta go check that out. I love
Yes,
it.
check it
I love
out.
it. Oh my God, that
And
is so cool.
I literally just made 2 songs for 2 businesses, one for a
Okay.
game card that I did the podcast. It's called To Be
Okay.
Honest because the game is called
Mhm.
To Be Honest. It helps
Mhm.
people come together and be just in their authentic self and just be honest with each other. Because, you know, we live in a
Okay.
world sometimes we may not feel like we have the space to be honest with each other because you never know
Absolutely.
how
People
it may
really.
go. And to be
Yeah.
honest, this game really helped me in on my journey and to be more authentic
Wow.
and to really lift my voice and be more vocal about the things that
Yeah.
I may like, things that I don't like, or the issues that may come up, right?
Wow. That is awesome. Awesome. Awesome.
Mhm.
Awesome. Okay, I want to ask you some rapid fire questions.
Okay, let's go.
Let's get it. So, what's one word that describes your journey?
Mm, dang. I
First
know
thing
this.
that comes to
I
your
know.
head. First thing that comes to
Uh,
your mind.
Powerful.
Powerful. Oh, I agree. I totally agree. Awesome. Okay. So, if Miracle Moments had a soundtrack, what genre would it be?
Ah, probably a little bit of R&B. We do actually have a song, but it would be a little bit of R&B mixed with
Yeah, I like
some, yeah.
I like R&B too. Yeah. Okay. So, what advice would you give to someone who feels their story disqualifies
It's funny that you said that. That's
them?
I've been hearing that lately, right?
Oh wow.
Somebody that feels like their story disqualify them,
Hmm.
tell your
Yeah.
story anyway, because
Yeah.
God qualified you. God has you here on purpose. So tell your story.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining us on today. I enjoy this. Just like I enjoy just learning a little bit more about you. You see people on social media connect, but it's like limited. So just like
Yeah,
being able to sit, have the conversation, talk about different things. You never know what a person has gone through. So to me,
mhm,
it's always enlightening. I learn a lot about the people that are my guests. So I appreciate you being willing to be open and vulnerable about your journey and the things that you've gone through. So, that takes courage because everybody can't do that.
yeah.
So I really thank you and kudos to you for that because that's powerful all in itself.
Thank you for having
So
me.
absolutely. So let us know anything that you have coming up, anything particular that you have coming up that you want to, plug right now. And we know the book is on the way, so we know that's
Yes,
coming.
yes, the book is on the way, and also, guys, I do have a special for Women's History Month. It's a song
Okay.
for 199. It ends at what is we March 31st. So you get one song for 199. And then also I have a master class coming up, how to turn your story into your brand. You can check that out. Yeah, just DM me, y'all. I'm trying to just DM me.
And
DM
we're
me the
gonna
word
talk.
story.
And you're on what, Facebook, Instagram,
Facebook,
what?
yeah, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. I love y'all. Listen, I love 9 p.m. Catch me on TikTok. But if you don't, that means I'm not coming at 9 p.m. But 9 p.m. Catch me on TikTok. Uh, Instagram, Snapchat. Yeah, just LinkedIn. Catch me where you can. Catch me where you
Okay.
can. Oh,
Absolutely.
YouTube. Inspirational music by Miracle Moments. And then also
Okay.
I have a personal one. It's called Miracle Moments. Come check me out,
Okay.
subscribe, and follow for more content.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us on today. Guys, we've had a wonderful segment on today. And just one word, one final word of encouragement. Your moment is not random, so never
Mm.
think that it is. Thank you all for tuning in on today. Make sure that you subscribe, like, and share. And don't forget to hit that bell for notifications of upcoming episodes, content, and more. Until we speak again, be blessed.